Alright, we're live, and I hope this is going to the right YouTube channel. But what we are going to be looking at is how do we take an outline on Notion and to be able to bring this into a slide presentation so that it's able to be worked on and created. So this will be a blessing for if you're creating like outlines for an online course, for a monthly live cast or a sermon or a daily live video or something that has slides in with it. Today, this month, we're doing our monthly training where we're going to be talking about 5 extremely simple ways to finally get results in your evangelism. And we're looking, here is the outline that we have, and what I want to show you is how to identify from this what are the things that should go into the slides and how to put them in there. So hopefully that will make sense, and also how to use a system of working together on the slides. So that's what we will do in this teaching point. So so far what we have done already is, I would say teaching point 1 is pretty much done. And by the way, Leah, you did really good with these photos. I was encouraged when I saw it. Doing great. Like, that's awesome. I mean, I woke up and these are done. It's like, wow, praise the Lord, hand-watered garden. I saw the drip system here and everything. That was great. We're going to get at that. So I think teaching point 1 and 2 are done. Now we want to go to develop your evangelism skills in a small group. So we have to go to teaching point 3 here, and the outline looks good. And we're just going to look real quick of what's already on here. We're just going to go from one section header to the other section header, which happens to be from slide number 23 down to slide, you know what, I think I actually kind of did that, slide 40. I did a few of these. So I'm going to go over them. We see evangelism equals developing leaders. Developing leaders. Yeah, same thing. So Moses' father-in-law, so we got that testimony in there, which is all talking about, this is really showing the purpose of this teaching point. It's really good to think in terms of the big picture. As you're doing this, do everything you can to not just get your head in the weeds and focus on the specific points that is being taught. Like here, develop your skills. Think about, like, why is it there? What is the big picture? What is the ultimate outcome that is seeking to be accomplished through this? As you try to discern that and pray, ask God for guidance. Notice kind of like a theme that might be a little challenging, but with God's help, I believe you can do it. I really do believe in your ability to do this through Christ, who can help you to do all things. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking to you on this in this training. But I know if you're here, it's because God doesn't call the qualified; He qualifies the called. And so as you go through this, just try to think, what is the ultimate outcome, the point that we're trying to say? And every single point, every slide, every word, everything on the slide and the speaker note should be leading towards accomplishing that outcome, that result of the teaching point here. So we could see that just from the teaching point alone, it says develop your evangelism skills. So everyone in our program wants to develop their skills, but what we're doing is we're saying in a small group. We are submitting to people, the conclusion we want them to know is, in the small group is where you will develop your evangelism skills. You want to evangelize and share with the world? It's in the small group that you will develop these skills. You have friends, family, coworkers, people who you love that you want to witness to. It's in the small group that you're able to invite them, nurture them, encourage them on their walk with God, and give them a platform so they can grow and learn and thrive. So this is kind of what we're trying to communicate. In addition to that, we're trying to help them understand that this one is one of the most important slides. Evangelism equals developing leaders, because evangelism is influence. Evangelism, like when we are, well, maybe not developing leaders. Let's say evangelism is, let's say, leadership. um, because everyone that you're trying to share Christ, you're trying to lead them to Christ. Evangelism is using your influence to share Christ with others. Oh, so then another thing is we need to define what leadership is. So we'll go, leadership is the skill of influence. Yeah, so people need to know. Leadership is a skill of influence, nothing more, nothing less. And so everything in this teaching point is trying to show people, one, this is our place to evangelize, and two, this is the place to develop our leadership skills. So we're basically casting the vision, helping people understand what they're missing in their their Christian growth plan. That this is something we are contributing and we are offering to the people so that they can have a life-changing experience in by accepting this teaching point. Does that make sense, Leah?
Yes, it does.
Okay, cool. And I say that because as long as you can define the outcome, then you'll be able to create slides that lead to that outcome. What pictures on the slide, what words are on the slide, what verses on the slide, what goes into the slide. The what is irrelevant until you understand the why first. Why are we teaching this point? To help people to identify evangelism with a small group and make that connection in the mind. Once you see that's the why, then it answers what to do. What should I put in there? And if you're having questions about, like, I don't know what points I should put in the slides, well, that's usually an indication that you're unclear on your why. Because the why clarifies the what. Hopefully that makes sense too. Being burdened, only one person to do this. I don't know how that got on there, but hearken now unto the voice. Out of Exodus. There's actual steps. Anytime you see actual steps here, you could go down to the, oh, there's no action items there? Okay, never mind. Okay, so I think I got to the end of these. Now I know what's in teaching point. Wait, what? Oh yeah, now I know what's in teaching point 3. So then we'll read here. So basically Jethro is teaching him that you need to have systems. When you have one in place, people can take up the work. So one thing too that we want to encourage is I see that you're doing really good with putting the verses on here and duplicating them down there. But we, if you see verses, you see these verses here. We want to put the commentary. The commentary, we want to have some of that on in the speaker notes too, so that there could be connections that are made of why the verse is being shared here. Does that make sense? Because this hasn't been transferred over. Okay, cool. So Jethro's teaching at systems. When you have one in place, people can take up the work. So basically, it doesn't really need to be added, but that could go here, but not bold. Don't want that bold. Judgments. Where's a verse that talks about judgments? Hearken now to my voice, God word. Yeah, there you go. So we could probably put that under the one here that talks about laws and judgments. So today we can have systems that level the playing field. I usually say, why isn't this deleting? There you go. Systems level the playing field. I don't know if people will understand what a Bible reading is, but some will, some won't. We could put that in there. And when we have systems in place, you can empower others, train an army of youth to go forth conquering and to conquer, just like the New Testament church. Cool. So that's all still about systems. All this is about systems. So we got that. And then that sounds like a small group. Hey, that's good. I think you put that in there. Maybe I did, but that looks really good. You see the verse that talks about the grouping people, and you have the small group. That's a blessing. If you start with one, and you have a leader and assistant, that assistant is able to train, then they divide. It exponentially grows. Yeah, that is something that, like, anytime that we have these like phrases like this, it's very visual. It's hard to wrap the mind around unless we could like depict it somehow on the slides. I'm just praying. I'm like, Lord, please help to know how to put this on the slides. We gotta pray. Pray. Have you ever wished you had accountability, support, encouragement in your walk with God? That's a really good hook. You know what that should be? That should be, really that should be at the, up here. Why have a small group? That sounds catchy. Providing shepherds with a flock. Going 2 by 2. Yeah, duplicating. Going 2 by 2. Captains over tens. Pray for leaders. Satan knows he attacks them. Pray for our leaders. Yeah. It's intact. Bible studies with my Bible worker. This is really good. Oh, evangelism training. Oh, I see what's going on here. Oh, we gotta explain about the partner leader and partner assistant. So this is what I often do when doing this. Is when I want to put a concept in there, I'll just open one of these up and hit Control D, look for a section header, and I'm going to put a place marker. So slide rank advancement slide from the, what was that called? Boot camp slide presentation with the steps. That's what people need to know. And yeah, letting people know that they're not alone. They are not alone. Like all those things in there. Duplication. Disciple is a student. Disciple expression deepens the impression. You have to have a little flock that you're taking care of. That is powerful. I really want to share that somehow. Oh, please get wisdom. Yeah, there we go. See, this hasn't been updated either. Somehow. For though ye have 10,000 instructors in Christ, yet not many fathers, for in Christ Jesus have begotten you through the gospel. Yes, evangelism is leadership. Leadership will develop your small groups. We will provide evangelism training. Whoever chooses to small. Yeah, that's a good statement to share. Oh, teaching point 3. Evangelism is leadership. There you go. Okay. This is something that we're creating for direction guides. Yeah, this is, yes, this is important for people to know. The best way to develop your evangelism in these things is to become a small group leader. Yeah. Leadership is a skill of influence. Got it. Cool. So those are kind of done. I got to put together some actionable steps. But some of these, like you'll see on here, like I really don't know what's going on with this. Surrounded by willing people. The harvest truly is plenteous, and labors are few. That is a convicting verse. We could put Luke 10. We could put Luke 10 here on slide 28. Full verse slide Luke 10:2. No, 10:1. That would be good. Like if there's a field that is ripe and ready to harvest and so few people to actually harvest it, like that'd be a powerful illustration. Just be like, look, I remember there's this one time my friend had this photo. It was from Point and Pen Parables, I believe, and it showed that there's this huge ripe field of wheat that were just ready to harvest, and there was like 5 reapers out there with their sickles, and they were just reaping, and you could see that the field was massive, so far reaching as far as the eye could see. But on the very end, like in the very back of the picture, it was a painting, there was the mountains, because they were in a valley, and there was like mountainside, and just over the mountains was like this storm cloud that was coming in, and it was rolling in towards the field. And it says that a storm is coming, relentless in its fury. And it's like the question was, where are the reapers? And the concept was like, when that storm comes, it is going to destroy all of the wheat that is ripe and ready to harvest. It will not be usable anymore, and there is not enough workers to reach all the people that are ripe and ready to be harvested. And it just, like, in a short time, the storm is going to come and destroy the whole crop and field, and all of it will go to waste. Precious souls will be lost forever because there is a shortage of workers. And I saw that picture so vivid, and my friend was just like showing it to me as I was preaching at his church, and I was just like convicted, like, oh, like, Lord, the harvest is plenteous, but the laborers are few. It was powerful. And I don't know if we can get something similar. I could probably even tell that story, but it might take longer in the live cast. What do you think about that, Leah? You there? Sister Leah? Did you fall asleep? Okay. Well, that step number 3 is done. I think teaching point 3 is done. Now to teaching point 4. Or was that what I was doing? 3? There is no 4 on here. Oh yeah, it is. Take this opportunity. Alright. Onward to the prize before us. Take this opportunity and impart what you know. We support you in sharing what you know. You will never learn until you impart what you know. That's powerful. People need to know. People need to know. What is going on with this? Let's not go there. Those are all really nice, but we're actually going to have to hide those because we don't have time to show those. You all look like you're sitting in a movie theater. What? I get what was going on right there. It's on fire. That's when they say, "Oh, how sweet, you're on fire." Oh, we're out. This is under evangelism. Liberal soul shall be made fat. Yeah. Actually, we can move all of this. It's on fire. So why is that shared? Illustration. So I'm moving these because they're put in the wrong place. You want to ask yourself, why is that shared? Illustration, you look like you're, so looking like you're in a movie theater is talking about the problems with the way that the structures of the church is. Yeah, right here. That'd be perfect. And then the ones that's talking about giving our heart to Christ and reigniting. There are firefighters in the church. We want to reignite the flame. Whoa, that was a big Control-Shift-B. Illustration, photo of Enoch with a box of books. Box of National Saying Law. Books from his testimony slides. There we go. That'd be good. And then take the opportunity to impart. So this is all about the law of imparting. Capacity receives. Why or not? Very important part of studying is to teach. Wait, is to think. Is to think as you're studying. How can I teach this? Who else can benefit? Who has the same problem? Oh yeah, that's a really good question. Oh, this is beautiful. So I'm actually going to put all this down here. Sometimes I'm not sure what I want to do with it, so we'll put it down on this slide that needs to be separated. Why aren't more people active now? One thing I teach over and over, if you don't teach what you know, you're going to get less and less. Whoa. Oops. Your capacity to receive expands as you impart. What are they doing? They started meeting in these large buildings. That is wrong. They have small groups in people's homes. That's not even in the right place. Who do you think led out in the discussion? Yeah, there's much more engagement and involvement because the setting was smaller. Challenge with meeting in a place like a church. Home church, you're more comfortable to speak and to share, more involved. My concern is that if the building model is the only time we come together, we'll die spiritually. We don't have a place for everybody to use their spiritual gifts. So we're putting this together for our Direction from God students. some sort where new leaders can grow. Leaders grow here. There needs to be other shepherds taking ownership of a little flock. It's not that overwhelming. Not overwhelming with 5 people. A lot to look at is like, that's a preacher's job. No, not the preacher's job. The moment the woman at the well heard, she began to tell others. There's born this desire to share. My heart goes out to the young in faith whose fires are quenched, want to do something for the Lord. Pray for these new Christians so they don't lose. Surround them with men, wise men who will encourage them in their walk with God. Yeah, that's what we got to do. Churches are dead. What is the promise to those who water? Oh, this is a really good example. We see here, this is a Bible reading format. So what is the promise to those who water? This question should be in the slide. And this should this should be a animated. This should be an animated full verse slide. So it's good. We can send messages to each other if we get confused. So that's something really important to pay attention to. Being able to listen to the write comments and respond to people. We communicate this way. And you could see that there's a comment right here in this bottom left corner. It says comment on there. And you can also find the comments by clicking this open comment history, and it just goes through all the ones that are finished or not finished, and the ones waiting for responses. So that would be very good to be aware of. So we always want to put those in there, and the commentary, we want to put that after the verse too. That way it's there, and it's good to have a note. It's easy for the mind to read that. You cannot outgive God. The best way to learn is to teach. That's a good note. Oh, didn't know how to share, didn't know where to share. That's a powerful question people need to know. People need to know. You know what would be good? We could write that in with an illustration of a Bible. So I'm just going to duplicate this, and I create these placeholders here so that the people who I work with, or you can create these illustrations here so that you're not looking up all the photos. Looking up photos is fun, but sometimes, like especially if you're someone good with words, and you like grasp the structure of the presentation or teaching, or how or why this is being created this way, it'll be really powerful for you to try to focus on doing those things that only you can do, like the words and the speaker notes. As you know, the speaker notes are so important because those are the only thing that the speaker sees. And so they allow us to speaker notes are really important. So I would just encourage you to do those things like the speaker notes and some of these instructions. If you have an idea of what would be a good photo to look up, sometimes graphic designers are like, well, I don't know what photo to put, I don't know what to look for. But if you have an idea like, oh, you know, this photo would look good, then just put it down there, and then they could just get it done like overnight. It's so fast. You don't have to do all things, every part of it, but when you work as a team, it's just it's a beautiful thing that you get to do together. Oh, that is a quotable. That needs to be stated. I believe that should go on the screen. Do we have that quoting thing anymore? We used to. There it is. Paste. Control Shift and What is that? Less than sign? Impression that does not lead to expression becomes depression. Impression that does not lead to expression becomes depression. Yeah, that's powerful. That's a powerful statement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually hit Control X. I'm going to scroll up and away. Open Bible. Paste it. There you go. Hey, God is helping. Clean that up. Don't want to have duplicates there. If it doesn't get expressed, it will weigh on your conscience. God doesn't want you to hoard the knowledge and be a spiritual glutton. There we go. Go to church. All you see is a sea of gray heads. Where are the young people? Reach them through the familiar associations. People are more comfortable going to something small. There's a lot of preconceived ideas on a church building. Now, this may be a good place to just have this up there again. Oh, I thought I had this on there twice. Make it very clear. This is all part of the template. Here we go. There you go. Cool. Small groups. So we could say all, where are they? You just see a sea of gray heads. Whoa, that's really small. I don't want to click that. Take that back. Oh man. I clicked it. So this is super helpful. So hotkeys is where it's at. As you commit to learning hotkeys, you will learn so much faster doing this. Yes, that is beautiful. This right there, it's partnering, going 2 by 2. Here we have on there. Impression that does not lead to expression causes depression. Yes, got it. Got that. How do the righteous study the answer? Yes, they're studying to share. Praise the Lord. Turning followers into leaders in a safe environment. Yeah, we put this on there. Just creating a safe environment for folks. So there we go. This is basically how you go through and you put them on there. The key thing I want you to see is just, like, this is one of the most important slides that you can understand, is know how do you put them in the speaker notes along with the words, and how do you put them in so that they make sense, so they're easy to access, and put them where the slide designers are able to access them. That would be tremendously helpful, tremendously valuable for working together. I hope this video is very helpful for you and it's helped to answer some of your questions. I thank you very much for your help. I'm so glad. I'm excited that we get to co-labor together in the Lord's field and the vineyard together. I encourage you to continue on this, and thank you for using your talents for Christ's service and developing them. Pray that this has increased your ability to understand how to put together gospel presentations and slides in a way that people can understand, And I just want to encourage you, any obstacle, any challenge you go through or that you're facing, sometimes it can be overwhelming, but just know, God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And you're here because God is calling you for service.